So now let's talk about ways that we can naturally reduce high estrogen. It is possible and it is not going to cost you a lot. You don't need to, get no expensive gym membership or any of that. It is easy and you can do it right from your home. Now, estrogen is a vital hormone for women, but when estrogen levels get too high, it can lead to various health issues like weight gain, mood swings, heavy periods, and most importantly, increased risk of certain cancers, primarily breast cancer and female reproductive cancers. That's what we don't want. So that is why we are talking about these natural ways to balance your hormones, reduce that estrogen, and balance that estrogen. So we're going to explore a couple of ways you could do that. The number one way, which is also going to be the quickest way to reduce estrogen, is exercising. Exercise. This is something that people do not realize is a thing. We know, exercising is good for us, but we don't know the whys. This is one of the big whys in women's health, why exercising is so important, because it reduces estrogen. So if you have high estrogen, it's going to bring it down into a healthy level. If you just have hormonal issues in general, it is going to regulate your hormones. So recent study has demonstrated that exercise can have a significant and significant and relatively rapid effect on lowering estrogen levels in the body. One of the notable studies is published by the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism. And that study investigated the relationship between exercise intensity and estrogen levels in premenopausal women. However, this is still going to be good for you even if you are postmenopausal, okay? The research found that even short-term, moderate intensity exercise could lead to a reduction in concentrations within a few hours of exercise. Specifically, the study showed that after 45 minutes of moderate aerobic exercise, women experienced a noticeable decline in estrogen levels, with the reduction being sustained for up to 24 hours. So now we see why we have to also do exercising often. You know, you want to daily get in a little bit of exercise because that is going to keep your hormones balanced and in a good, healthy state daily. Now, this again is going to be the fastest way. This is also the most underestimated way. We always think so hard. We're like, oh, I need to fix this problem in my body. It means I've got to have this magic formula and I've got to count macros and micros and I've got to have, 7 therapists to help me do all this. No, you don't. Girl, all you got to do is go outside and hit the pavement. Park at the other side of the parking lot, real far away. Even that helps. Walk around your block. Heck, walk up and down your steps in your house more than one time. Whatever you can do to get your heart rate up for at least 30 minutes. Now, let's talk about this other study I want to share with you guys on exercise and reducing estrogen. This one is from the British Journal of Cancer. This study explored the long-term impact of exercise on estrogen levels in postmenopausal women. This study found that consistent physical activity over several months resulted in lower circulation levels of estrogen, which significantly reduced the risk of estrogen-dependent cancers such as breast cancers. Now, this is important because once you're in this part of life, you're like, 50s and up. And so that is also when you notice people will start to get cancer. So if you can do this in your 20s, by the time you get to your 50s or 60s, you're going to be reduced this by a lot. I'm sorry to interrupt, but it's important. Welcome to Work It Lady Podcast, where it's time to put in the work regarding educating yourself on all areas of your health and well-being. At Work It Lady Podcast, we are dedicated to empowering women to take control of their health and mental well-being. Our mission is to provide women with the knowledge, inspiration, and tools needed to transform their lives, from improving nutrition and fitness, navigating womanhood, and if you're a mom, excelling at motherhood. Step 1, like this episode. Step 2, share it with someone you love, and even the haters, they need help too. Step 3, subscribe on podcasts, subscribe on YouTube, join our mailing list to stay in the loop on classes and events. I am so happy you made it here, girl. Thank you. And the study went on to say that moderate intensity activities such as walking, swimming, cycling led to a gradual decline in estrogen levels, with the most pronounced effects occurring after about 3 to 4 weeks of regular exercise. So the study is really emphasizing the point that the exercise does not only help lower estrogen in the short term, but also plays a key role in long-term hormonal balance. Okay, so both studies are really, keying in for us the importance of exercise. This is what happens when you don't exercise. You get an estrogen overload in your system. You're not expressing that estrogen. You're not getting it out. When you exercise, it gets it out. Your body's mechanisms start to spin, your blood starts to flow, and just that blood flow is really all it takes to get those estrogen levels back into what they should be. So that was the number one thing that I wanted to share with you guys. Exercise to reduce those estrogen levels. This is also going to be super important if you are pre-pregnancy, you want to conceive, or you are pregnant. This is going to keep you in the safe zone with your estrogen, because you are exposed to lethal amounts of estrogen when you are pregnant. So walking, moderate exercise during your pregnancy is going to protect you long term with estrogen dominance as well. Okay, so I feel like we covered that one pretty good. Let me give you the next thing that you can do to naturally reduce estrogen. That is, of course, we talked about it in the other episode about some of the causes, but reducing that sugar, just sneaking that one in. Sugar is going to raise your estrogen, so just keep that in mind. Now, I want to give you actually something to do if you are already estrogen dominant, and that is going to be increasing your leafy greens. Journal of Nutrition found that leafy greens, spinach, kale, Swiss chard, these are very good for lowering estrogen levels. And what's interesting is that they actually have what's called phytoestrogens in them. And what phytoestrogens do is these are natural plant estrogens that we should be ingesting. They help to balance out the estrogen that our bodies make. These veggies also contain chlorophyll, which is a powerful compound that has been found to help eliminate estrogen from the body by binding to estrogen molecules, facilitating their removal. Also, fruits like tomatoes, they're rich in lycopene, which also have been shown to have estrogen reducing effects as well, because lycopene is also kind of a natural estrogen blocker almost, which is very interesting. Okay, so very good at being a preventative measure to prevent yourself from getting a estrogen based cancer. Okay, now the last thing that I want to tell you to do, that you could do to help reduce your estrogen levels, okay, is add some, I always like to give extras, okay? I know I said this is the last one, but I'm going to say this. Incorporate cruciferous veggies. That is because the cruciferous veggies have inositol-3 carbinol, and these have been shown to promote healthy estrogen metabolism in the body. So think broccoli, cauliflower, kale, Brussels sprouts, things that people don't really like to eat as much. We all kind of like, I'll have a salad, but eat some broccoli and give it to your young girls, especially if you've got young little girls, that are menstruation. This is going to set them up well so that they're not, getting their period too early and all of that. They're going to, when they start menstruating, they're going to have healthier cycles. So that is something you could do. Now, the last thing I am going to do is encourage you to add some flax seeds to your diet. The reason for this is that flax seeds are rich in lignans, and this is a plant compound that can bind to estrogen and help reduce its activity in the body, and it helps to also modulate estrogen levels by blocking estrogen receptors. And I'm even going to give you another one. I'm going to give you another bonus one. This is something else you can do every single day. Eat yourself a green apple. Very high in plant polyphenols, very good source of pectin and fiber, which is also going to help to get any excess estrogen that does not have a role, that is just hanging out in your system. It is going to help to remove it from your system. Okay. So I hope you guys have found these tips to be helpful. I hope that you will give them a try. Please start with the number one thing first, which is exercise. You're going to feel better immediately. You're going to feel better immediately. Notice how after you exercise, you kind of get this like relaxed, calming effect. That is what has just happened. You've brought your estrogen down. Okay. So, all right, ladies, thanks so much for listening to Work It Lady, and I'll see you in the next episode.